Hello, so let's see how we would actually start coding. You might remember there's two programs that we've looked at. One is idle, the basic one that you get when you download Python. The other one was Visual Studio Code. Let's start with idle. I'm doing this on a Windows computer. It'd be different if you're on Mac, Linux, Chrome or another book, but let's say you'll do it in Windows. If you have it in the start here, you could click on the start and you might have it there. You might put it inside of a group. For example, I've got a group of applications I can use for coding. Otherwise, you could go to where you have a magnifying glass and write in idle. Or you could just go to the magnifying glass at the bottom and then write in idle there. Click on it. This is not where you'd want to write a whole program, you might remember. This is where you would do one line at a time. Now, if you wanted to write a whole program, go to the File menu and choose Open, or you could press a shortcut Control and O, or rather go to the File menu and choose New, or do the shortcut Control and N. And here we will be able to write in our program. Our print quotation hello world, close quotation mark, close the bracket. Remember, if you want to run the program, it's a good idea if first you save it. File menu. If it's the first time you're saving it or you want to make a new copy, go to Save As. And here we can give it a name. See, we'll just call it Hello World. Let's find a folder to save it to. It's not a good idea to save it in the Python folder. It comes up to begin with. Maybe you've got your own place for folders. A lot of people like to put it in their Documents folder. I will do that. So go to Documents. Okay, now there's lots of folders you might already have within Documents. But it's a good idea if you make a folder specifically for the Python coding that we're going to be doing. So if I go to New Folder, let's write Python, press enter, open, and there we are, hello world, save. Now that we've saved it, we can run it. So we can go to run module, or F5. Remember, if you're pressing F5, depending what computer you're using, you might have to press the key at the bottom that says function or FN or something like that, and then press F5, or you might just press F5 by itself. There you are, and it shows you the output, hello world. Fantastic. Well, that is how you would do it in idle. Now let's see how you would do it in Visual Studio Code. So we'll start it just as we would before. We could go to the magnifying glass at the bottom, write Visual Studio Code. So if you're going to be using this a lot, it'd be a good idea to create a shortcut on the Start menu. You could press the right mouse button, and I've already got it on my Start menu, so it says Unpin. So if you don't have it, you could do Pin from Start, and that way when you click it there, you should be able to see it like as it is here. Okay, so it may have some thing that you were working on last time, or it may be completely new. Don't worry about it. Let's go to the menu at the top here. it may show it not just as what we call a hamburger, these 3 lines. If I make it bigger, you can see we've got a proper file menu there, depending on the size of the screen and the window you have open. Let's go to the file menu, and we could go to open folder. So I'll go to the same Python folder that I use for idle. If you remember, we went to documents, and there it is, Python there. Select folder. Do you want to save? No, I don't. Okay, and there we are. Now, if you don't see the file there, maybe you don't have a file already, or you could try clicking on these 2 pages there. That will switch on and off the files you have open in the folder. If you have this open already, you can click on this one here to create a new file. So the first one is going to be, let's call it loops 1. Remember, when you do this in Visual Studio Code, because you can program in different languages here, you have to say what type of language it is by putting the .py at the end, what we call the file extension, .py. Let's press enter. There we are, and now we can start coding. So remember, when you do it in Visual Studio Code, it will let you preview what it thinks is the right word you're trying to do. So I could click on print, or use the up down arrow keys to choose the right ones. So click on print. After the function, you get brackets. Notice it automatically does the open and close brackets for you. Quotation marks, and let's write hello world! Exclamation mark. Brilliant. So we can save it, going to the menu, doing file, save, or we could use a shortcut, Control S. If you are doing this on a Mac, instead of a control button, you would use a command button. That also goes if you want to do a new file, instead of being a Control N, it would be a Command N on a Mac. However, if we run the program, it should save it for us anyhow. So to run the program, we can click this triangle in the top right hand corner. I've already got Python set up. If it's your first time doing it, you might need to set up Python. There we are, and as you can see there, it says hello world. Brilliant. Now that we're set up, we can continue with the program. I'm going to show you how we could do it in Visual Studio Code, but it will be the same code that you would write in idle as well. Let's get started on it.